Moments ago, Senator John McCain went on the record. Now, is the president doing enough about the growing uncertainty in Iran? Senator, nice to see you, sir.
Thank you, Greta. It's nice to be back with you.
Senator, should the president do more about Iran? If so, what can he do?
I think the president can speak out far more strongly. I think he can reassert American values and our commitment to human rights that we first stated on the 4th of July, 1776. And also, could I add, Greta, this isn't about Lousy. I'm not in favor of either candidate. This is about human rights and values and the repression and oppression of people. We speak out because we think there are universal values that all of us should adhere to. And by the way, if you haven't seen this brutal killing of this new martyr, Greta, we should see it.
Well, you know, if he speaks out more at this point, it might be reassuring to us in America, although there's no, I mean, we're not going to go through this, but is the information really even able to penetrate Iran with all the sort of repression that is now going on with them shutting down communication in and out, the foreign journalists aren't allowed in? I mean, is there any sort of real point in it, or is there?
Well, I don't think that there's any doubt in modern technology that they will be able to communicate with one another. And they need our moral support right now. They really need it badly. The repression and the crackdown and the imprisonment and all of the terrible things that go along with brutal regimes are taking place now. You know, there probably were people who said that we couldn't get through past the Iron Curtain when Ronald Reagan gave the Evil Empire speech, but Nathan Sharansky said it went like wildfire through the Gulag, and that they were heartened and they were given strength by it. The Iranian people need to have our moral support now. I'm not talking about sending arms. I'm not talking about anything except showing our moral support and our belief in human values. And I don't think that should be hard.
If we take sort of the long-term vision, if the president essentially says to the people, we're with you, you know, you people on the streets that are fighting unfair election processes, we're with you. Now let's suppose Ahmadinejad actually does win, and we have gone out there telling these people to, you know, to hit the streets. Then what happens?
Well, Greta, there's no doubt about it being a flawed and corrupt election. And no matter who wins, Iran is permanently changed because the people of Iran have spoken out against a government which we now know is even more repressive and brutal than we had first anticipated. And over time, their assertion and their sacrifice and their commitment to freedom and democracy will eventually allow them to be free. The question is, of course, is how much support do we give them? And the question is whether this regime will see the light of day and understand that it's time for change.
It seems to me sort of there are two rather lousy choices. One is Ahmadinejad and his history. The other being Lousy, his history, during his reign as prime minister, I don't know, 7,000 or 8,000 people who didn't agree with him were executed. Is there an option C at this point, or is it either going to be Ahmadinejad or Lousy, or is there any other possible outcome that you see?
Well, again, I repeat, it's not Lousy or Ahmadinejad. It is a free and fair election where people are able to express their will. This is obviously a sign of great discontent with the way that the country is being governed. And, you know, once this reform starts, it usually ends up with total and complete reform. And perhaps over time there would be a free and fair election that's not between these two individuals, but between others who might represent more of the principles and philosophy that we support. In the meantime, it's not about these two. It's about respect for human rights and values. And Daniel Webster, back in 1823, spoke up in favor of those that were involved in a Greek uprising against the Turks. It's been our history and our tradition, and it's what makes America what it is.
Is it a missed opportunity if the president doesn't speak out more and in stronger terms? And how do you compare that to, for instance, Sarkozy of France's response or Merkel of Germany's response?
Well, there's no doubt that Prime Minister Brown of England, Chancellor Merkel, and President Sarkozy have all spoken out very strongly, and demonstrators all over Europe and the United States have spoken out very strongly. I understand from his spokesperson that he said today that the president was moved by what he has seen. If he's moved, then I'd like for him to speak out very strongly on the side of values and human rights, and then the issues that exist between the United States and Iran, I think, will be simpler in the long run, rather than dealing with a regime that is clearly illegitimate.
Next, more with Senator McCain, and at this hour, the United States Navy is tracking a North Korean ship. It could be carrying nuclear material. North Korea threatens war if we stop this ship.